The Little House in the Village, Part 3. The knocking stopped, but the silence that followed was worse, because now the door itself began to breathe. The wood expanded slowly, softly, as if warm air was pushing from the other side, fogging through the grain. The metal latch gave a tiny tremble, a shiver, not forced, not rattled, just ready, waiting. Grandmother gripped my arm, her knuckles bone wide. "It can't come in," she whispered. "Not without permission." Her voice cracked, "But it will try." The door exhaled, a low, hollow sound, as though someone placed their forehead against it and whispered straight into the wood. Then the handle moved, not fully, not dramatically, just a soft, deliberate tilt, as fingers far too long and far too thin were testing how the metal felt. A quiet click, a sigh. My breath hitched. "Grandma?" She didn't answer. Her eyes were fixed on the handle, wide, wet, terrified. "Don't speak," she pressed. "Even one word is enough." Then came the whisper from behind the door, not loud, not threatening, close, intimate. "Open." I froze. The voice was almost mine, almost, a fraction too slow, a shade too hollow, like something learning how to speak with my mouth. Again, "Open." The handle tilted further, not all the way, just enough to feel intentional. The house leaned in, everything leaned in, waiting for one mistake, for one answer, for one breath in the wrong direction. Grandmother's hands shook uncontrollably, but her whisper was sharp as a blade. "It's not calling you, it's calling your memory." I felt my stomach drop, because she was right. In my mind, I saw that child version of me, tiny, barefoot, standing in the hallway years ago, reaching for the same handle, pulling it open with perfect trust, perfect innocence. And the forest wind breathing in. The house shivered around me. It recognized that memory. It wanted me to finish it. Then the voice behind the door changed, softened, sweetened. "Come on," it whispered. "You remember me." My heartbeat stuttered, because it didn't sound like me anymore. It sounded like someone I knew, someone I trusted, someone I loved and lost. The house used the memory like bait, like a hand guiding mine towards the handle. I stepped forward, not by choice, not by instinct, the instinct of a child. Grandmother yanked me back before my fingers touched metal. "Don't look at it," her voice cracked. "Don't give it your eyes." But the whisper slipped through the crack beneath the door, thin as smoke, cold as damp earth. "Let me in." This time it used my mother's voice. When the voice used my mother's tone, something inside me cracked, not loudly, not noticeably, but enough. Enough for the house to feel it, enough for the thing behind the door to lean closer. Grandmother tightened her grip on me, but I could barely feel her hand. My chest felt hollow, my throat strained. It was a sound like a plant toward sunlight. It was instinct, memory, need. The voice whispered again, gentle, warm, threaded with a softness I had not heard in years. "Sweetheart, please." My eyes burned, my breath stuttered. "Mom?" The moment the word escaped, barely a breath, the house reacted. The walls flexed inward as if inhaling sharply. The wooden planks under my feet tightened like muscle. The handle jerked, not a test, not a tease, a pull. Grandmother gasped, "No!" She threw herself against the door, both palms flat, but entire weight pressing into the wood. The handle twisted under her hand, fighting her. The latch shook, the hinges hissed. Something on the other side pushed back, slowly, patiently, almost politely, as if saying, "You invited me, now let me in." Grandmother braced her shoulder against the door frame. Her voice was a fragile whisper, breaking like thunder under tension. "Don't listen, don't look, don't answer it again." The voice outside shifted tones with terrifying ease, from my mother to my own whisper, to something deeper, a tone that rewrote the air. "Come closer." I felt a pull in my ribs, my spine, the back of my throat. Not physical, worse, familiar. The way a dream pulls you into its logic. The way memory pulls you back even when it hurts. My feet moved, one step, then another. I didn't want to. I truly didn't, but the house wanted it for me. The floorboards warmed under my soles, guiding me forward like a pulse beneath skin. Grandmother cried out, a sound I'd never heard from her. Desperate, fragile, final. Stay back! She reached for me with one hand, still pushing the door with the other. But her fingers slipped, just for a moment, just enough. The handle jerked again harder, more eager. And the door, for the first time, opened a fraction. A breath of cold air spilled into the room. Not forest air, not night air, something older, heavier, thicker. It smelled like wet soil and forgotten grace, like a place that had never been touched by sun or prayer. Grandmother slammed her butt against the door, teeth clenched, arms shaking violently. Help me, she whispered. I can't hold it alone. And I, still trembling, still listening to the wrong heartbeat inside my own chest, stepped forward. The thing behind the door felt my movement, its mouth through the wood. I felt it, and whispered, so quiet it was almost a thought. Yes, just like that time. The door opened another inch, not pushed, guided, like a hand sliding across a familiar cheek, tender, loving, wrong. Cold seeped in, stalking my ankles, my knees, creeping up my spine, like the shadow of a memory I never meant to keep. Grandmother pressed her whole weight into the door, arms trembling, breath breaking. Don't look, she whispered. Promise me, don't look. But something on the other side leaned forward, and curiosity, fear, and something ancient inside my bones won. I looked. Through the silver of opening between the frame and the trembling wood, I saw it, not a face, not yet, a hand, pale, long, wrong. The fingers were too slender, too many joints, blending in ways that made my stomach turn. But what made my breath catch, what froze me entirely, was the skin. It looked like my skin, exactly like mine, as if something outside was trying to grow a version of me from memory alone. And the fingers curled, just in the air, searching for warmth, searching for me. A soft, delighted exhale slips through the crack. Closer. The hand shifted, tilting, listening, almost seizing the air I breathed. Its shadow stretched across the floor, elongated, distorted, as if the house itself was bending the shape to accommodate it. Grandmother's voice broke apart. It's choosing you. It's been choosing you since you were a child. Her eyes, wet, wide, terrified, met mine. Don't let it finish the choice. But the thing outside was patient, slow, confident. It whispered again, a sound like my own voice, wrapped in something deeper, older, hungry. You opened the door before, you open it again. And the house, the traitorous old structure, answered with a groan, leaning forward, as if to remembered that night from long ago, as if the house agreed. Grandmother made a choice, one she'd hoped never to make. She let go of the door with one hand, only one, and grabbed my face, forcing my eyes away from the opening. Listen to me, she whispered, her voice breaking. If it takes you, it takes me too. Do you understand? I tried to speak. I couldn't, because behind her, through the slit in the door, the hand twisted, groping along the frame, almost playful, almost curious, almost familiar, like something that had been waiting for years to touch me again. Grandmother pulled me back. The door protested, a sharp, hungry creak. The hand reached further, its fingertips dragging across the floor, leaving thin, wet streaks on the wooden planks. And in a voice so quiet it felt like words inside my skull, it whispered, Let me in. Grandmother didn't scream, didn't panic, didn't weep. Instead, she let go of me for just a heartbeat and reached for the small wooden box on the shelf near the table. A box so ordinary I'd never noticed it before. A box the house might have noticed all too well. The moment her fingers touched it, the air changed, thickened, cracked. like the breast of the house caught in its throat. She opened the lid with trembling hands. Inside lay 3 small objects: a piece of salted blackened bread, a length of red thread, a nail old and crooked, as if torn from a coffin long ago. She whispered, almost to herself, "First, bread for the living." Her fingers brushed the stale crust. The house shuddered. Second, thread for the boundary. She wrapped the red string around her palm, once, twice, 3 times. The air hissed with every loop. And third, iron. She held up the nail, a thin, ugly shard of rust. Yet the air recoiled as if frightened of it, for the one who is not welcome. The hand through the door went still, not retreating, not yet, but listening. The voice behind the wood shifted tone, no longer coaxing, no longer sweet, low, cold, displeased. "Stop," it whispered, a warning, a threat, a plea. Maybe all 3. Grandma's ignored it. Her voice remained steady, but only because her fear was older than mine. She pressed the bread to the floorboards beside the door. "For the living," she murmured. "Who stay inside?" The boards trembled, as if something beneath them tried to push upward. Then she took the thread. She tied it around the door handle, making a small, tight knot. Her fingers shook violently, but she didn't stop. "For the boundary," she whispered, "which shall not be crossed." The handle stiffened, stopped moving. The house mourned, a deep, resonant groan, as if the walls themselves felt the knot tighten round their bones. The hand beyond the door recoiled a few inches, slowly, reluctantly. Finally, she pressed the iron nail against the seam of the door. The wood hissed, as if touched by flame. "For the uninvited," she pressed, "who must remain outside." She drove the nail in with a single brutal push. The reaction was immediate. The house convulsed. Every wall, every plank, every beam joggled violently, as if something enormous had been struck. The hand snapped back through the crack, fingers curling in pain or rage or both. A sound rose from the other side, not a whisper, but a raw, distorted howl of something denied, something furious, something that had expected to win. And for the first time since the knocking began, the door pushed inward and then stopped completely. Held shut, not by force, but by refusal, by the ritual, by the line between worlds restored for the moment. Grandmother collapsed to her knees, breathing hard, her hands shaking violently. "It will try again," she whispered. "Tomorrow, the next night, until it finds a crack." She looked up at me. In her eyes I saw exhaustion and something worse, certainty. "You must leave this place," she said softly, "before it remembers more of you than I can do." Grandmother sat on the floor for a long time, breathing in short with thin gasps, like someone who had run past the point of strength. The house creaked above us, slowly recovering from the iron nail, but the air remained tensed, coiled, waiting. It wasn't gone, not defeated, just set aside for now. Finally she spoke. Her voice was soft, but each word landed like a stone. "It chose you when you were very small," she said, "and only needed a moment. One open door, one open window, one open breath." She pressed her palm against her heart, as if holding something in place. "And once it touches you, even once, it remembers." I swallowed hard, my chest tightened. "But why me?" Her eyes lifted, old, heavy, full of memories she wished he'd never carried. "It chooses children," she whispered. "Always children. They listen to whispers without knowing their whispers. They open doors without knowing their doors." Her voice thin. "Children see before they fear it." A shiver ran through the walls, a slow vibration, as if the house itself agreed. Grandmother's gaze flickered upward. "No," she said sharply, as if scolding a living thing. "This one is not yours." The vibration stopped instantly. My skin crawled. "Grandma, is the house alive?" She exhaled. Not alive. A long pause. But not dead either. Her fingers found the floor, tracing invisible patterns. It is a doorway. The word dropped like a pebble into a dark well. A place where the skin between worlds sang. A house built on a seam that should never have been touched. Her voice lowered for a trembling whisper, and it remembers every child who opened that seam. I felt the weight of the house around me, the way the boards shifted as if I just adjusted into the breath of the forest. "Grandma," I whispered, "what happens if I stay another night?" Her eyes closed, and when she opened them, the truth inside was barely held together. "It will call you again," she said. At first, with voices you laugh. Then with voices you fear. And if you answer even once, it will take you. My mouth went dry. "Take me where?" She shook her head slowly. "Not where," she breathed. "What?" That word cut deeper than any scream. What you will become if it takes you is not something you can come back from. A long silence. Only the wind outside moved. Grandmother leaned closer, her voice barely a breath, her eyes full of the grief of someone who has already lost a child once before. You have to leave before the house remembers you completely.